believe we are live. I'm trying to check. I think we're going live. Yes, cool. We are live. At least I'm looking over at my phone because I've got this as my monitor to see that we're live. So let me just make sure this comes up on my monitor, and we will get started in a quick second. Hi, everybody. Before I start actually touring Nail Every Note and giving you the inside tour, I am going to introduce myself. So that is, oh, there we go. We got the monitor happening on my phone now. Cool. Running all this stuff by myself, so I had my fingers really crossed to make sure that everything was going to go as planned. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, or maybe you're watching this later. It's all good. My name is Adrienne Osborne, and I'm a vocal coach in Denver, Colorado, and I've been doing this for 12 years. I've taught thousands and thousands of people how to sing more with more power, with more freedom, with better tone, especially how to mix across their range. I'm a huge fan of that because that helps you reach high notes with power. And I'm an accredited vocal instructor through the International Voice Teachers of Mix, pursuing my mentor teacher status, which means I will soon be a teacher of other voice teachers. I'm also an artist myself. I sing, I perform, I write music, I record music. But mostly what I focus on is being a vocal coach these days. So I have 2 studios in Colorado. Well, it's one studio with 2 locations called Performance High. And we have a location in just north of downtown Denver in a really cool neighborhood called Rhino. And we have a location in Broomfield. And we also do online lessons. So what we're doing here today is we're going to take a tour of Nail Every Note, of course. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I built it and the philosophy around how it's organized. And then I will answer any questions that you may have about Nail Every Note, about my studio, Performance High, about singing, kind of fair game. I'll get to as many questions as I can. Feel free to ask questions during the tour. If anything comes up, I'm going to keep my eye on the chat over here. And if I can work the answer into what I'm doing at the moment, I will. Otherwise, I'll get to questions at the end. All right, so let's start with what this, what this is and why I built it. So what this is, in short, is a membership site for contemporary vocalists. That means that you become a member, you pay a little bit every month, and you get access to everything. So that's basically what it is. There's over 200 video lessons, exercises, backing tracks, and I add to it every single week. So it started with about 150 last August when I released, and now we're over 200 resources, and it just keeps growing. So I first built this in 2014, and it was an enormous program, about 15 or 17 hours of lessons. That's a lot to wade through, and it cost about $500. And then last year, when I had some time during the pandemic, and the studio took a bit of a left turn, I rebuilt this from the ground up. New framework, new technology. I changed it to a membership, a more affordable membership model so that you didn't have to plunk down $500 to get access to it. And I re-recorded at least 100 videos. More than, I think 2/3 of what's in here is new as of the last year. So this has become an important resource for clients at Performance High. So this tour is both an orientation for those of you who are current clients at my studio, and it's an insider tour for those of you who might be considering checking it out, becoming a member. And if you're curious what it is, that's what I'm going to show you. So let me talk a little bit about who this is for and who it's not for. So in case you are someone this is not for, you can go on with your evening and not spend the rest of the time looking at this. First of all, this is for most singers of contemporary music, meaning this does not serve opera singers. it doesn't even really serve the older musical theater style that some people call legit singing. It's not a classically oriented program. It is for contemporary singers, and that includes pop, of course, rock, country, jazz, R&B, folk, Latino. I mean, you name it. Basically, modern music of all sorts. So yeah, if you're an opera singer, this is not the place for you. You probably aren't. What else? This is best for people who are 14 or so and older. It's not perfect for kids because I think kids need a little bit more guidance. This is a bit more of a self-directed program. So we have some kids at our studio who use it, but our teachers tell them exactly which lessons to look at each week. And then I mentioned rock singers, and although we do serve hard rock and metal singers and screamers at our studio, I'm not the one who does that. So since I built this program, there's not much specific to hard rock and screaming in this program. So if that's what you're looking for, you've got a couple of choices. You could join Nail Every Note for a little while and build up your foundation before then taking private lessons, or you could just start with private lessons with either our screaming expert Tyler or with others out there in the world. Okay, so now I would like to talk about the overview of this program. Like this, what's the approach here? It is different from all of the other online vocal resources that I'm aware of, and it reflects the way we teach lessons at Performance High. What that means is when we have private students, we don't pull out a book and start with lesson number 1, and then go to lesson number 2 for every student, because every voice is different and every student is different. So it's a waste of time to do the same thing for every person, especially, people have different goals too. So what we do is we start with the understanding that no two voices are the same. And so we want to understand the voice first and then make a plan for what does this voice need to do first? What's the priority that's going to give the biggest bang for the buck and for the time spent? That said, voices do tend to fall into categories. They tend to face the same groups of challenges. So let me talk about what kinds of voices those are, because that tells you where to start in Nail Every Note. One main category of singer is the singer who favors the head voice up here, and has a break when they go down to chest voice. And this kind of singer is almost always a woman, maybe has some choir experience or some classical voice lessons. And when she goes to a lower note, her voice kind of gets weak like this, and she really prefers to sing in the high notes. And then the flip side of that is the singer that favors chest voice and has a break when they flip to when they get to head voice. So they're fond of powerful singing, feel real comfortable in the lower ranges, the speaking range, but when you go up and up and up and it gets tighter and tighter, and then you have to flip to something light, that's the chest dominant singer. Okay, so that's the second kind of singer. The third is the singer who has access, good access to both the chest range or the low range and the head voice or the high range, but there's a flip in the middle and the two voices don't sound the same. And then the fourth, very lucky kind of singer, kind of a side category, is that lucky person who does not have a break in their voice, that does have access to all of their range easily, and they're going to start in a totally different place. So having said all that, this is organized. Nail Every Note is organized in modules where the place you start is going to be associated with what kind of singer you are out of those 4 types. So let's start taking a little tour. First of all, let's look at these core modules. We are on the Member Center homepage here. This is where you arrive if you click on the logo. And you'll see the navigation up top here. It's kind of reflected by these big icons down here as well. We have a roadmap, which we'll take a look at in a moment. But since I just mentioned the core modules, we're going to look at those. So we have 3 levels of core modules: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Most people who are chest dominant singers, like you like to sing rock, you like to sing pop, you have a powerful voice, but it gets tight when you go up high and you strain and then you flip to high notes. What you need is to learn to sing with more freedom. So that kind of singer would start here. And we'll go in and take a look at an intermediate one. I mentioned singers, the female singers usually, who maybe sound like choir singers and have a wonderful upper range, but kind of have a weak low range like down there. They need to learn to sing with more power, right? And then once those kinds of singers, work on whichever side of their voice is the one that needs work, then we start connecting across from low to high and back again. And that is an intermediate skill, so that is in the Connect Your Entire Range module. So if you're seeing that this is not like a start here, 1, 2, 3 kind of progress, it's because in private lessons, we don't start with 1, 2, 3, because some people come in and they have certain foundation already in place, whether that is because they've had lessons before or they just have good habits by luck or by genetics or by growing up in a musical family, who knows. So some people do start in the middle. So let's go in and take a look at one of these core modules so you can see what it looks like in here. We're going to go into Connect Your Entire Range, which is about singing in mix, which is a tough thing for a lot of people to do. So the format of each of these modules is pretty much the same. The first video in each module introduces the concepts of the module. Most of them have jump links, so you can, skip around easily if you want to. If they're more than a couple minutes long, I usually add jump links. And then it's also transcribed in text. So if you prefer to read, you can read rather than watch video for these. Then we have two main categories of videos for each module. We have lessons and we have exercises. So the lessons are more informational. They usually include an exercise to illustrate the point, and they may run you through an exercise to teach you how to do something, but they're more expositional, they're more informational. Then the exercise section is more exactly what it sounds like. It's more exercise. It's more, here's this thing we're going to do. You're going to go for this. You're going to try not to do that. And you're going to focus on this. Here's what it sounds like. Here we go. So this one has, what is this, 10 something exercises. Let's check out one of them. Say this one. I think this might be one of the older ones. Let's see. No, this is one of the newer ones. Cool. So here, this is a pretty typical video length. They're mostly 2 to 8 minutes long, often 2 to 4. We can jump straight to the exercise, or we can listen to the introduction and me demonstrating. Now, one of the cool little features in this framework that I'm using now is you can mark an exercise as complete. You can you can bookmark it for future reference, or you can mark it as a favorite. And what happens if you do that? Well, if you go up to your stuff, my stuff, up here, you can find them here. So here are all the lessons that I've marked my favorites, bookmarked for whatever other reason. Maybe I haven't figured this one out yet and I want to come back to it later. And then here are all the lessons that I've completed. So let's take a look at what core modules we have. I'll talk a little bit about each one, and then I want to move on and show you what else is in the site. So we've just taken a look at what a single module looks like. Now let's look at what we have. So we've got in the beginner modules, Sing with More Freedom helps you open up your head range, reduce tension, smooth over, just basically like open your head voice, because head voice is all about freedom until we start belting. And that's an advanced topic, so that's going to be further on. Sing with More Power is, like I said, for those singers who have lots of freedom but don't quite have power. So usually more female singers, but some male R&B singers really need to find more power in their voices as well. Sing with Confidence. This one is actually a collection of videos from a previous product called Zen of the Stage, Performing in the Zone. And this is a bunch of videos of quick fix mental tricks that you can take to any situation with you. I would try one at a time, but it just describes, something you can do in your brain that's kind of like a hijacking of the nerves to help you perform the way you want to perform. And then after you've gone into your band audition or your gig or your recital or whatever, and you've done a number of them, then you won't need these anymore. But if you're a new singer and you're super nervous, then these can really help. And then the fourth beginner topic is perfecting your pitch. The intermediate modules, we took a look at connecting your entire range, which again is connecting from low to high and back again smoothly without a break. That means singing in mix. And then we also have getting incredible tone. So this deals with vowel shapes, the proper breath support, not over compressing. Again, relaxing things that need to be relaxed, such as the tongue and the jaw, things like that. Let's take a quick look at some topics here. Just to dive in real quick. Yep, opening your mouth, creating space in the back of the mouth. Edge connection refers to the vocal cord connections because that can have a lot to do with your tone. Right, how to brighten or darken your tone, which is under your control, how to fix nasal tone, and then some exercises for working on your tone. Alrighty. Then also in the intermediate modules, we have perfecting your vibrato. I won't dive into every single module unless I get a request to do so in the chat. So feel free to speak up if you would like to see something specific in here. And then perfecting your riffs and runs. So this includes advice on how to perfect your riffs and runs. The obvious, like slow it down, learn it, and speed it back up. I'll give you that piece of information for free. But also there are some kind of tricks and other perspectives that I use to help people perfect the runs. Because if we focus just on slowing it down and speeding back up, there are some other things we can do to make that process a little faster. Then in the advanced section, we have effortless belting. Belting always looks hard, but it shouldn't be hard. It really can be easy. So this teaches you how to belt healthfully, I think, and without excess effort. Then for going on with advanced topics, we have professional polish. Things like really getting into legato and specific vowel shapes. Let's take a quick look at some of the topics we have in here real quick. Consistency, diphthongs, vowel centering, right? Fixing E's and R's, which are often a troublesome vowel and a troublesome consonant. The choice to make improper vowels, meaning sometimes we choose improper vowels and that's fine. Oh yeah, phrase endings. Okay, so these are the little things, like when I work with someone who already can access their entire range and they're singing smoothly and their tone is good and their vibrato's fine, these are the kinds of topics that I start really drilling down on with people in private lessons. But you can do it yourself here. That's what this is all about. Then singing crazy high notes. So this is when we get up to, beyond just crossing, say, high C for women or crossing, say, F sharp or G above middle C for men. This is getting up to those almost squeaky little high notes. And not everybody has the same, possible range, but if you have it, this module will help you get access to the insane highs that your voice can do. And then finally, you are given some advice and some examples about how to develop your own style. So this is where you've got all of the technique in place, or as much as you care to have in place. I mean, we can break rules, right? And then it's time for you to try some styles on, pick up some specifics, like analyze some singers. And so there's a whole guideline and some examples about how to analyze what other singers are doing and really tune your ear so that you can hear what people are doing and pick up some tricks from others and then decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to reject. All right, so those are the core modules. Let's see. My notes. Yes. Okay, so let's look at what else is inside Nail Every Note. So we've got these core modules. These are the main lessons. There's 175 of these at least in terms of individual videos, but you don't have to go one by one through everything. I do have one client who has, and wow, good for you. You're more patient than I am. So now we have the resources area. The first section here is the foundation. This is just a few things that everybody should probably take a look at before starting. And if you do the roadmap, it'll direct you here. But, basics on how your voice works. What is a great singer anyway? What are we going for? These are all videos. And then some basics on breath support, which is important for most people. So it's a small section, but some really, really high quality informational videos there. Then we have warm-ups and exercises. So you'll see that there are warm-ups and exercises, and then there are exercise backing tracks. These are two very different things. Okay, warm-ups and exercises are downloadable MP3s where there may be themed, like it's a daily 10-minute warm-up, or a warm-up to open your high range, or a warm-up for power. But I tell you in these exercises what to do, and I illustrate how to do the exercise. The exercise backing tracks are simply backing tracks. There's no instruction. It's for you to take and use whatever syllable you want, but you just have something to sing to so you can stay on key. So let's take a quick look. The warm-ups and backing tracks are growing. This is what we have so far, and I am currently in the middle of a relatively new YouTube series of warm-ups for different moods and different functions. So as I do those YouTube videos, we are converting the exercise into warm-ups for all voice types. So for example, I just released this one today, I think, the 10-minute warm-up for releasing tongue and jaw tension. So there's a YouTube video out there in one vocal range, mine, right? But here inside Nail Every Note, we transpose them to all 6 ranges. So you can download it, you can just use it here, whatever you want. So this is an area of the site that has started to grow more, and this is where a lot of my future effort is going to go. So you have just lots of choices for, inspiration for what to do each day, so you don't have to run the same warm-up every day. Or if that's your thing, for consistency, that's cool too. Routine is great. Okay, then we have the exercise backing tracks, which also are downloadable. They're also MP3s. And again, these are just patterns to sing to. We have slow, medium, and fast tracks. I think 14, 15 of them for each vocal range. So bass singers, baritones, tenors, altos, mezzo, soprano. And you can download the whole group. Just click the download button and the whole collection of that playlist downloads. So you can take it in your car, play in the shower. I don't know how you play in the shower. Anyway, so you've got, which ranges these are in and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, and finally, the other resource here is a quick set of instructions on keeping your voice healthy that you should probably take a look at some point. This is not proprietary information, but it is very, it's common knowledge, but it's a good place to just you don't have to search YouTube, and you don't have to search, like online. You just have all the things you need to do and don't do to keep your voice healthy right here. And then a funny little video, how to hurt yourself. This is from 2014. Okay, other features of this site. So as you can tell, there's a lot in here, right? And you might not know exactly where to go. So I use this little search function all the time. If I know there's an exercise or a topic that I want to find, you can just do a search and you find your options. Or you can go to the lesson library. So this is a collection of all of the course content, everything that's in all of these course modules. It's a collection of all of that by category. So you can look at a particular topic, like, I want to know, what does it mean to sing legato and how do I do it? Well, here's the main exercise, the main video on that. Here's the parent module for that. Enunciation, head range, mix exercises. So everything is tagged with a category. And so this is just kind of another way to slice and dice all the content in Nail Every Note and find what you're looking for. Okay, so to search the site, like I said, you can use this search, which searches all text. So it's pretty much everything that's on the site. And then the lesson library searches by category, by tag. Let's see. Oh, I mentioned the roadmap, and I was going to come back to that. So this is optional, but this is a great way to kickstart your journey into Nail Every Note. Kind of gets you started, and you get a little progress bar here. I guess I haven't gone very far myself. So what I love for people to do is take a before recording, because sometimes progress can be done in fits and starts, and sometimes you don't realize you're getting better until you listen back and you're like, oh my gosh. So this is just like put a marker in the sand here. Take that before recording. Then I walk you through some of the foundation videos, just to give you something to start standing on. Set your goals, introduce yourself. If you are a pro tier member, schedule a lesson. So this kind of just walks you through like how to start using the site and how to integrate it into your life in a way that it actually makes something, in a way that you actually like make some progress, rather than just having, these 200 lessons thrown at you and you're like, oh, I don't know what to search for. Well, this is a place to get started. And so the most important thing here is selecting that first module. So referring back to what I described at the beginning, most people fall into a few different categories of singer. And so this gives you a little bit of idea of where to start. Now, if you don't know where to start, feel free to ask me. This is a pretty new membership site. It's only a few months old at this point. So I definitely have time to give you some advice. So you can email me directly through Nail Every Note, like through the contact form, or reply to the emails you get from Nail Every Note, or you can post in the community forum and get help. Like send me a little recording and I'll say, oh, it sounds like you should focus on this module or this lesson. I love doing it. So use me as a resource. All right. So, and then, one other little feature. I'm going to go back to the member center here. We have online performances. What that means is basically, Zoom gatherings where we hang out a little bit. People sing karaoke or they accompany themselves on guitar or piano. Some people have even, sung a cappella. It's very casual and supportive and fun. So you can click the little add to calendar button and you'll get an option to add it to your iCal or your Google Calendar or whatever. So we have these about every 2 months this summer. They might end up becoming more frequent, but that's the schedule right now. So get another one coming up in about 5 weeks. Alrighty. So in some, I'd like to talk about like some of the features in Nail Every Note and the benefits that you get from them, because that's a marketing thing that you're supposed to do. So we've got these video modules that you can do in any order. Again, this is not start from here, end here. And if you want someone to tell you what to do 1 through 10, I'm sorry, it's just, it might not be what's right for you. That's not how I teach. That's not how I built this. So you need to have a little bit of self-awareness, or ask me or one of my teachers about what to focus on. Feel free to jump around. So this means that you don't have to wade through a bunch of stuff that doesn't apply to you. Like you don't have to do day 1 exercise if you don't need to do day 1 exercise, or lesson number 1, whatever, in this fictional other program. Let's see. The feedback from me, I think, is probably one of the things that sets this apart. That's why it's a membership site, not a product to buy, because I'm here for you. I'm here to answer your emails. I'm here to respond to you on the forum and give you guidance. And I really like doing it. So don't hold back. Just ask me questions, including in the live chat here, which I don't see. Oh, fancy the bold. Hello. So it's almost Q&A time. So if you have any questions or want to see anything specific in Nail Every Note, go ahead and start texting me that on the live chat. I think it's also pretty cool that you can bookmark and favorite your favorite lessons, so you don't have to go search for them. You don't have to remember where they are. When you come across one that's like, oh, this really sets me up for, like, this puts my voice in a good place, just favorite that thing and then come back to my stuff and you'll find your favorite lessons right there, you know. Got the search function in the lesson library, so you can, you know, even if you didn't favorite something or bookmark it, you can still find stuff pretty easily. And I guess the biggest thing about this is it's extremely affordable vocal instruction. So my private lessons right now are $110 an hour. And, you know, we have lessons with my teachers at my studio. They're based on an $83 per hour lesson rate, which is pretty standard. I mean, if you are getting $20 or $30 voice lessons, then there's a good chance you're not working with someone who has very much experience. But all of my teachers have a ton of experience. And we work, you know, we work on ongoing education, continuing education all the time. So this is just a great way to get tons and tons of lessons without paying tons and tons of money. All right. Hey, Jonathan. Thanks. All right. So future plans. Again, I release a new video or a new exercise warm up or something every week. So this just keeps growing. So that's going to keep going. I just keep learning new things. So I want to share them with you. I just want to share like, oh, this is a new trick I learned. Here's this great exercise. I've been doing this with everybody all week and I want to show you. So that's going to continue. I also make resources based on requests from my members. This thing is living and growing. So some of the warm-ups are in direct response to specific requests from current members. So if you have a request, then just ask me. You know, I want to make stuff that's useful to you. So next, what now? If you are already a client at Performance High, you should have an email in your inbox. If you don't already, I think it's going out in the next day, that will give you a link to join Nail Note for free, because that is a benefit of being a client at our studio, Performance High, as of today. And if you're not a client at Performance High, but you are interested in getting access to this, today is the last day of a promo that I've been running for a couple weeks, and it is a half off for life promotion. That means normally it's $19 a month for the basic tier, which means full access to everything digitally and all the downloads, everything. You will get it for $9.50 a month for as long as you are a member. So like Netflix or Spotify. I mean, it's pretty cheap, and it's crazy cheap for voice lessons. So the basic tier includes everything you saw, everything that's in the site here. It does not include one-on-one private lessons, but it does include my help through the forum or through email. If you are interested in getting private lessons, you can either work through my studio or you can go for one of the higher tiers. But the promo right now is for the basic tier, which includes all of the digital stuff. So to get access to that, there's a link in the video below in the description. You can click right on through to that. Again, this is only available through tonight. This is going to expire tomorrow. So don't wait too long. All right. I don't see any questions. Oh no, I wanted to say one more thing about becoming a member. There is no minimum time commitment, and I do offer 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're on the fence, you could just sign up, pay $9.50, decide it's not for you, drop me a line, I'll refund your money. I'm way more about not burning bridges and doing the right thing than about keeping somebody's $9.50. So really no risk. All right, no questions on the chat as far as I can see. Since there's a delay, I'm going to wait about 30 seconds before I shut this down. But anyway, thanks to those of you who showed up. I'm sure there are going to be some other people who watch this live video later. Yeah, I think that's going to be about it. Cool. So thanks again for showing up. Let me know if I can do anything for you. Guess that's it. Okay, see you guys later.